The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Trial entered into its 8th day, in federal court on Monday, with the first John Doe to take the stand. The man who went by Lewis said he met Kelly in 2006 while working the overnight shift at a McDonald's drive-thru in suburban Chicago. Kelly, who was 39 years old at the time, asked for the phone number of Lewis's female manager and gave a slip of paper with his own phone number to Lewis to thank him. Lewis, an aspiring R&B musician himself, texted Kelly and was ultimately invited to one of the singer's music studios to play some music he had worked on. But Lewis didn't get very far, as Kelly would let the song play for only 5 seconds and would then say that he didn't like it. Lewis left the studio discouraged that the king of R&B wasn't interested in his music. But he continued to text Kelly and later saw him at a gym around the corner from the McDonald's where he worked in Markham, Illinois. Soon enough, he was regularly invited to Kelly's home for parties and to play basketball with the singer. Kelly ultimately invited Lewis to a studio at his home in Olympia Fields, another suburb of Chicago. But when Lewis got there, they met in a detached garage where Kelly had exercise equipment and a boxing ring, rather than in one of the studios the singer maintained in the main building. Kelly would ask him what he was willing to do for music. To which Lewis said he replied, "I'll carry your bags, anything you need, I'll be willing to do." Kelly would respond, "That's not it," before asking him about fantasies regarding other men. He then described how Kelly proceeded to take advantage of him, despite the fact that he wasn't into it. On that first occasion, Lewis stated that he told the singer to stop. After Kelly stepped back, he swore Lewis to secrecy, saying, "Don't tell anyone, we're brothers now." Lewis, who was 17 at the time, said he continued to see Kelly after it happened because he was hoping to still be mentored for his music career. He went on to share that he experienced much of the same behaviors as the other Janes, who have already appeared on the witness stand, including being told to write a letter for Kelly in an effort to protect him. Lewis said he last saw Kelly in person in the late 2010s in the hallway outside the singer's apartment in Chicago's Trump Tower. Kelly had invited him there to talk, saying he needed protection and that he needed for Lewis to write a letter. Lewis admitted to writing the letter, but said he was told, word for word, what to write, which is to say, the contents of the letter was not true. Apparently, the defense struggled to come up with factual discrepancies in Lewis's story. He spent several minutes asking Lewis why he testified that Kelly opened the door to his Olympia Fields home on the day the act took place for the first time. He claimed Lewis said that a person named Candy handled security at the door. Lewis responded to the question saying, "Candy wasn't there that day." Despite his past, Lewis said he still hoped to make it in music. When asked, what did R. Kelly do to help move his career forward? Lewis gave the same answer as every other Jane. Nothing. A woman also testified that she too shared the same experiences as the other Janes that had previously appeared. She said she was also 17, and the incident took place after a performance in Miami in 1994. She claimed that after the show, Kelly's associates took her and a friend to his dressing room, where he would use his power to have his way with her without the use of protection. She said she was in complete shock and didn't know what to say. She said she basically went blank. Afterward, she and her friend unlocked the door and ran out of the room. On cross, the defense attorney pressed Addie on why after that experience, she waited more than 2 decades to report it. She stated it's because she wanted to avoid feeling shame. One-time assistant for the R&B singer took the stand on Tuesday. Suzette Mayweather, who's known the musician for years, shared that he was a confrontational boss. She testified over 2 days this week and was the first of Rob's employees to provide extensive details of his system of restrictions. She told jurors she first met Rob in the late 1990s and that the singer came to be like a brother to her. She started working for him in 2015 as a personal assistant, including at his Chicago area studio, which was known as the Chocolate Factory. During her time working for Rob, Mayweather testified that she recalled at least 2 instances when she overheard or later learned of the singer's inappropriate behavior towards women he was with. Though she said during cross-examination that she never saw him hit anyone. She said she was aware of the rules Rob imposed on the women and was responsible for helping to maintain them. She was also expected to notify the singer when they were broken. Failing to uphold the rules could lead to pay cuts, which she had experienced. He once docked her pay for speaking with one of his girlfriends about Rob's personal life. When confronted by her boss over conversations, she said he became enraged. This particular incident was the first time she'd had ever seen Rob really upset. She said it wasn't the tone, but rather the look in his eyes. She tried to explain that the girlfriend, named Dominique, had initiated the conversation, but she grew scared by Rob's reaction and ultimately took the blame. According to the assistant, she took the blame because she feared what the repercussions would be for Dominique. She was also required to write her boss a letter of apology. Once, during a trip, she received a warning for allowing a woman to leave a van to use the bathroom without Rob's permission. Mayweather told jurors that women were forbidden from looking at or speaking to other men. She described their behavior as highly controlled, even in mundane activities. They could only cheer for him at basketball games, and when they walked in the elevator, once the door closed, the women were to face the wall and never turn around. They did not move unless they had his permission, and if there was a male present, Mayweather was the only one allowed to interact with them. When asked how many of Rob's girlfriends regularly did this, the former assistant responded, it was all of them. Text messages between Mayweather and her twin, who also worked for Rob, showed her questioning some of the rules. She showed concern when one of the Janes was allegedly kept in the back room of Rob's Chicago music studio for more than a day. In the text message, she questioned if the woman had been there all day and had she come out to use the bathroom or had anything to eat. She also questioned why the singer was keeping the woman there at all. At times, Mayweather said, though she knew it was forbidden, she would push back. She once allowed one of Rob's girlfriends to leave the tour bus so she could get food. She was fined $500 for disobeying his rule, and another time, as punishment, he ordered her to get him sweet potato pie at 2 in the morning.